Hello everyone, this is Shauna and I'm coming to you from my home office this week. This is a new thing that we're doing called the Tutor Check-In, and I'm here to check in with you this week for your Math 112. These are the assignments coming up for the current week, so I'm going to take you briefly to your Canvas page and show you how to find out what to do for this coming week. So let me share my screen at this time. Here's the Canvas page, and this is the elementary statistics page that you're used to. I'm going to go to modules on the left sidebar right here. And as this is our third week, I'm going to go down to week 3, and we're finishing up chapter 2 this week and getting into chapter 3. Section 2.3, I should say, focuses on other types of graphs. So you're going to talk about pie charts. You're going to talk about a little bit about Pareto charts and bar graphs and the pie graph and the stem and leaf chart. This follows up on the graphing that you did in 2.2, which may or may not be done as you are hearing this. The histogram, the frequency polygon, and the ogive. Remember that when you're going through the types of graphs, you want to make sure that you pay attention to the types of data that you're dealing with and what type of data, whether it's qualitative categorical or whether it's quantitative numerical, and what types of information go on each axis. So for example, the histogram has class boundaries on the x-axis, the horizontal axis, and it has frequencies on the y-axis. The frequency polygon has midpoints, class midpoints on the x-axis, and frequencies on the y. The ogive has upper class limits. So you have the upper class boundary, and it has the cumulative frequency on the y-axis. So you want to pay attention to that. With the other types of graphs that you're talking about, the stem and leaf plot, like I said, the pie graph, and you're going to be looking at some other ones too. Pay attention to what types of data you're dealing with and what goes on each axis. And those are part of the slides. You need to pay attention to that. You need to pay attention to what kinds of labels you're going to be using. And again, you'll find those in the slides. For some of you, I don't know if you're having difficulty using the slides, but remember, you do want to make sure you're reading the PowerPoint. Let me share my screen again. And I'll go and show you the modules one more time. And remember that for your other assignments, you also have a link to the slide. So besides other types of graphs that you're going to be looking at, you're also doing data description this week. So you're going to talk about measures of central tendency and measures of variation. So you want to pay attention to the types of measurement that you're dealing with and the types that fall under each one. So let me show you here. for example, the measures of central tendency, we're going to be talking about the differences between measures of population called parameters and measures of sample called statistics. But let me take you to the slides quickly here just to show you what we're dealing with. I need to stop sharing for a minute and pull up the slides. So let me do that. But you want to pay attention also to the parameter and the statistic. This is something that students have difficulty with every semester. So you're going to discover that we have two means, two standard deviations, and two variances, and they matter. So be sure that you learn the symbols for each one. You'll see the symbols in the slides. You'll see the symbols in the homework. It's important that you understand what they are. So let me just show you this quickly here. So in this section, as I mentioned, we're dealing with measures of central tendency. We're dealing with so statistics that describe samples versus parameters that describe population. So parameters starts with P, population starts with P. That's how you remember. Pay attention, like I said, to the symbols. So X bar is the mean for the sample. Mu is the mean for the population. Yes, you need to know the difference. So make sure you distinguish those. You'll see that in the lesson when you're doing the lesson. The measures of central tendency, the mean, the median, the mode, the mid-range, all of the examples are here for you, okay? Use that. But do, like I said, do pay attention to the symbology. You have a similar type of technique for the measures of variation, which is another thing that you're going to be asked to do this week. So make sure that you're paying attention to that. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And I know there have been questions from some of you. Professor Dell has fielded a few this week. But just know that that's what's going on. So that's the module situation, okay? And that's what you're dealing with the modules for this week. If you ever have any questions about things that are due, go to the syllabus and check the syllabus. The syllabus has your calendar at the end of it. And so you go to the very bottom. Week 3 starts on August 31st. Notice that you're studying for 2-3, 3-1, and 3-2, okay? You had a quiz up to 1-3 and 2-1, and so you're doing 2-3, 3-1, and 3-2, okay? And then the following week is Labor Day, and you have 3 more sections due. That's about it for this week's check-in. I hope you found these couple of hints helpful. Like I said, do pay attention to the types of data and the proper values that go on each axis for the types of graphs that you're doing. Pay attention to the measures and where they come from. and whether there are sample statistics or population parameters, and pay attention to whether you're dealing with measures of central tendency, which I took you to the slides for, or measures of variation, which is in the following section. That's what you'll be covering this week. Best of luck to you all. Hope you're doing well. Be healthy, stay safe, keep working hard, and we'll talk later. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.